Right, let's go. Thank you.
Johannes has a rare blood condition called TTP. Before he was diagnosed, he became very unwell while he was driving his daughter home from school.
I dropped my daughter at school in the morning. And then, since I was having a migraine, I just had to take a small rest. I went back to bed. I was late actually picking her up. I think it's because of that headache I overslept. Drove all the way again to come and pick her up from here. And then that's when she started asking me those questions. The first thing she said was, "Why are you so late today? And why are you walking like that? And why are you talking like this?" But I managed to drive all this way back with her, going back home, until suddenly when we got there, that's when I just passed out. It went to that house there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when Grace started shouting. People were passing through, shouting for help and so forth, until this person came and obviously took me out of the car and phoned the police and the ambulance.
Johannes was taken to the hospital and then transferred to critical care, where he was put into an induced coma. He was diagnosed with TTP. Thrombotic Thrombocytopenic Purpura, also known as TTP, is a rare blood condition that causes multiple tiny blood clots to form in small blood vessels throughout the body. TTP is a serious disorder. It's a medical emergency that needs to be treated quickly. People with TTP may experience a wide variety of symptoms, including fever, fatigue, headache, confusion, stroke-like symptoms, rashes, and bruises. If the condition is not treated urgently, patients can become very unwell. For this reason, patients are usually admitted to the intensive care unit. Blood clots occur due to very low levels of an enzyme called ADAMTS13 in the blood. The job of ADAMTS13 is to control normal blood clotting. Without ADAMTS13, there is a buildup of long, string-like clotting proteins in the blood vessels. These structures trap small blood cells called platelets, leading to blood clots which obstruct blood flow. The treatment for TTP is urgent plasma exchange. Plasma is the liquid part of blood. Plasma exchange involves removing the patient's plasma and replacing it with fresh plasma containing ADAMTS13. Plasma exchange is a complex treatment that may be needed daily for at least a week. Additional regular drug treatments via injection are also required. Some people experience only one episode of severe TTP. However, TTP can reoccur and patients can experience long-term symptoms. So people with TTP are monitored regularly in their TTP clinic and with blood tests. Liverpool University Hospital is the TTP Specialist Centre for North West England. Each week, patients visit a clinic where their TTP is monitored and they receive support for living with the condition.
Sometimes I really feel alone and I'm sure nobody can understand me. I am really, really sad and angry and sometimes I don't have confidence. Sorry.
I understand that it's hard.
Thank you.
Is it difficult knowing that not many people have TTP, so not many people understand what you're going through. Is that hard?
Yes, it's really hard.
Do you feel it would be helpful if you could hear from other people who have TTP like you?
Yes, I think so.
Testimonies like Adele's show the need to share experiences of people living with TTP. Jane has been living with TTP for 7 years. She tells me that it stays at the front of her mind.
It's really strange because you do think about it every day. I don't think there's a day where I don't think about it. In fact, I'm 100% sure. Don't fall down up here. There's not a day goes by where at some time in my day I don't think about TTP. Just fleeting. You just think, have I got any bruises? Or if I have got a bruise, where did I get that bruise from? I'm tired today. Am I tired because I'm just tired? Or am I tired because I'm going to be ill again? People don't understand. And I don't dwell on it at work, but people don't understand that, you know, I get worried about getting tired, but they don't see it because I just look perfectly healthy. And I don't think they have that understanding of what you go through every day and what you think about every day. And that you think that, okay, I've been fine for 7 years, but some people have been fine for 16 years and then relapsed. So you just think, I may be fine for 20 years, but I could relapse. It's like not knowing. But then I may never relapse. Touch wood. Who knows? Yeah. We'll carry on. Are you all right to carry on?
I think it's going to get a bit easier now, isn't it?
Sort of. I'll get a bruise, come up, and if I bang myself, I always think to myself, remember you've just banged your leg. And then if I get a bruise, I just keep my eye on it, and if it fades, then I know it's fine.
That's when I was in with TTP. I didn't bother to shave either, because I couldn't be bothered, just didn't want to know. 20th September 19. There's flower boxes there on the window ledge, but there's daffodils in that, but they're not showing yet. That's holly. That's flame of the forest. That. At first, when you come out of hospital, you feel, I don't know, a bit detached, having been in for like 6 weeks and out of touch with things.
Despite not appearing to have any symptoms, Trevor was diagnosed with TTP and put on a treatment course of plasma exchange.
I've known Trevor for about 50 years, and we've always done things together, like holidays and this, that and the other. Well, she warned me, she said, you realise he's very ill. But he looked dreadful. Anyway, thank God he pulled through it all. Oh, yeah, hopefully he has.
The phone call I got to go to the hospital straight away, I still work, and I was at work. I just got in my car to drive home. And they said, can you come to the hospital straight away? And I said, can I go home and have my tea? And they said, no, you need to go straight away. Because I had no symptoms of anything. They just felt ordinary.
I think you're looking a lot better than you were 12 months ago. What treatment have you had during that time?
I had plasma exchange,
What's that?
which took 4 hours every day.
What did they do?
Take my plasma out and put new plasma in.
How, by means of a pipe?
By like blood transfusion, sort of.
It hurt?
No, it didn't hurt. It was 4 hours of just lying there. I wouldn't say you were out of their sight for more than 2 minutes at any time, because they just kept checking on you and just making sure you were all right. It didn't mean a lot to me at the time, but when I look back, I can just realise how sort of intensive it was. It was just amazing that the fact that they did that. It looked like a bit like a dialysis machine, because you're transferring the plasma, you could sort of see it whizzing around, and then they transfer it sort of a bag at a time, and it buzzed, and they came and changed it, through it again, and changed it again and again, and they said there was only one more to go, things like that. It was very friendly, very casual. It was nice. You could drink, you could play puzzles on your phone, and just as normal. It's just the fact you were attached to a machine.
The period of time before diagnosis can be stressful for both patients and family members.
Make sure you don't get my homemade wine in. I'm struggling. It's starting to clear at the top now. We only moved in here a year ago. Apples at the bottom, so I'll give it a go. Yeah.
Your garden was apples.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, you just knew I was not feeling well, didn't you? But we didn't think anything of it. You didn't know any of this because you'd gone out walking up to Old Man Coniston with our son.
I just knew that Jane was back and forth to the doctors, but and she'd complained about some bruising on your body, but nobody thought anything of it, including myself. It just didn't seem associated with anything particularly untoward, I suppose.
Ill, but not like ill, if you follow me.
Yeah. And it culminated in eventually the blood results suggesting that Jane needed to go up to the hospital. And so we got her straight up there, and Jane was kept in overnight. And as I left the hospital on that Thursday, probably around about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, there was a suggestion that what Jane needed was a blood transfusion. And indeed, they tried that overnight, I believe. Then the haematologist, Dr. Machita, came in the following day. And, sorry, just a bit of a flashback, I suppose.
You're right.
Yeah. And saved your life.
You're right.
I don't think anybody understood the severity of it.
It got quite serious quite quickly.
Yeah.
It did. Within probably 2 hours of arriving at Liverpool and going into intensive care, apologies, whatever it's called nowadays, Jane had a seizure. And if that had happened anywhere other than there, I just don't think Jane would have made it. It's as simple as that. So everything just turned. The culmination of 3 weeks of investigations just turned all of a sudden for the worse, and we had a very difficult night, didn't we? Overnight.
You more so than me.
Very quickly, they sat us in a room and said, "Look, we do believe it's TTP, and this is what's going to happen going forward." So that was huge, because I then understood, potentially what the issue was.
She was the last child to leave school because you got there late. So the teacher didn't notice that you were limping. But as soon as Grace came out, she said she saw you limping and she got scared. And then, she was saying, "You need to call my mommy, you don't look well." But you said, "No, we don't need to call your mommy." So you just ignored her and then you kept going. And then you started driving really badly. But then at that point, and then the car got to Aldi and then the car stopped in Aldi. Your sense of judgment had been impaired completely. You couldn't make proper judgment.
All I remember is waking up in Liverpool Hospital in the ICU there. It happened on the 8th, so I was induced that same night, I think, until the 19th. That's when I woke up, and I was in Liverpool. It's so funny because it was like a deep sleep. I just woke up and I'm seeing like I'm seeing two nurses sat there, and they're saying, welcome back, Joe. And they're clapping their hands. I'm thinking, welcome back from where?
I just lost my mom. I had lost 3 members of my family in May. And then this happened in June. So I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know how to process it. It was just all too much for me. So, I had to stay home, and the doctor said, well, there's nothing you can do for him. Just, we'll keep in touch with you. You don't need to keep coming, because he was in a coma and Grace had just been in an accident. So I had to come back home to stay with her. So I had to be shuttling between himself and Grace. And the doctor said, no, you stay with the child. And then when he comes out of a coma, we'll definitely get in touch with you. At that point, it was a 10-day period that passed so quickly. And it was hard. It was the hardest 10 days. And yet it was quick, but it was difficult.
I try to live my life now like, yes, I've been diagnosed, I've been treated, I'm back home, I'm also driving, and I can walk, play football. So I'm just taking myself as a fit guy back again and try to put this behind the scenes. Though while I know that's the condition, TTP, and I'm still going through that process.
TTP is not a very well-known condition, and it can be hard to understand. This is especially true if English is not your first language.
This one is me, and this was his little son.
Okay.
It doesn't look like young.
Yes. And he's not that young anymore.
Yeah, he's a big one now.
Right.
My mother's family is all here. My sister, brother, me, and my husband, mother, or family, or over there, Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you take any photos on your trip?
This is me.
Is it for a wedding?
Yeah, wedding.
Oh, very nice.
And this is big daughter-in-law, and this is grandchild.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He looks so smart.
Mm.
You must be doing well with TTP, so you could travel.
Yeah.
It was okay?
Yeah.
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 Because the checkup with Dr. Dutt.
Every 2 months.
Yeah. Every 2 months?
Every 2 months, yeah. I leave hospital about 9 week or 8 week, something like this. I'm not understand his phone for my daughter-in-law.
Okay. So she was on the phone to help a little bit?
Yeah, help for me.
Did she help to explain, or was it also?
Yeah, my daughter-in-law.
Oh,
Yeah,
daughter-in-law.
yeah, it's explain.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. How are you? I was there when she was ill. Because it was a COVID time, we were not allowed to see her. So every time we wanted to ask anything about how is she going, what is she doing. So she used to help us, she used to reply us, she used to guide us through the appointments. So it was a really good experience with the hospital staff, nurses. Everything was really good. She's a very brave woman. Even though after all this happening, she needed help in the house. She was she's very, very active.
चल ठीक है लिशबा फिर बात करूँ ओके
चलो ठीक है
ओके अल्लाह हाफिज़ बाय
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello,
James.
you okay?
Hi, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, you?
Take a pew. How are we doing?
Fine. Normal.
Well, it's almost a year since your last relapse, isn't it? When you went in.
Yeah.
That was around the time of the COVID last year.
Gotcha. I think anything new that I get, it just, sends me back. So I think that's what did it, to be fair. Definitely the COVID. When I did go at A&E, they didn't try to correct me that I've got ITP or something else because which was surprising because the last time I had to go through A&E, I had to go through probably 50 doctors. I was telling them I've got TTP and they were like, no, you've got ITP. No, I've never heard of TTP, so it don't exist. So,
I think this time what happened was Joe had called beforehand. So Joe had been in touch with them to say, we have a patient with TTP who's coming in.
Massively then.
Could you get these bloods done? early.
Is there a frustration that you have to explain TTP to people?
Yeah, all the time. Every single time. You just have to explain the situation and hopefully just get them to go on Google or something, just look it up. So
You've done very well, I think, from that episode, haven't you? So you've recovered well from that.
the way I see it, it's just I get a few plasma infusions done and that's it. I'm back to being me again.
So work, are you working at the moment?
I'm a support worker for people with autism. Yeah, it's a lot better than retail, a lot better.
We feel that being on regular plasma may help you in the long term, so reducing your risk of long-term stroke or vascular disease, heart attacks, things like that.
But it'd give you that extra buffer in case you were about to lapse. You've got a bit more in your system, so you wouldn't lapse so quick like you usually do.
You are probably at this stage feeling quite well adjusted with your diagnosis. Would I be right in thinking that?
Yeah, because I grew up with it, so I've not really known anything different, really, And just like I said to everyone, my parents had to deal with it, I just had to live with it.
Next you'll have, Joe will take your bloods as usual, and then you're free to escape.
Oh, thanks. I'm a queen now.
How are you, James?
Dramatic, how are you?
Probably my main bit of my role is that I'm a point of contact before anybody else, where if they've got any concerns, if they're worried about something, even if it's something very small, sometimes it can be something really important in the world of TTP that they actually do need to come in for a blood test, that they should actually be seen quite soon. So I'm the first sort of point of contact. When did you last have your blood done?
February. Because I had them done by Dr. Harlan.
Oh, yes.
I won't be looking.
So, James, you get your bloods taken every checkup?
Yeah, got to.
Why is that?
Just to see if your platelets are fine.
That's the most important thing for you. It's getting your platelets checked. But I think you're very good at knowing when things aren't quite right, when everything kind of went wrong.
When the blood blister
came and stuff. Yeah. You knew what to do. You did all the right things. Everyone else did the right.
Like I said to Dr. I said I want a gold star. I'm still waiting.
Sorry.
Not good enough.
It's not good enough.
I thought stickers were the dentist.
So, yeah.
Sharp scratch. Yeah, 2 already. And usually I'll let James know later with his blood count results. That's it, really. That's all we need to do.
Many people with TTP are able to return to work and manage to balance regular life whilst managing their condition.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
You okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is the sorter. So anything that's picked for customers will be sent down here, and then it's distributed on the belt, which goes to the chutes, which consolidates all the customers' parcel in one area, and then they bag it all up, scan it, and it goes away on a belt then. So this is security cage 2, I think. I could be wrong. I think it is number 2. Number 3, apologies. When I first got told that I had TTP, I did actually ask the question, what's that? To which they told me what it was, and I was still none the wiser. They just said it was a condition to do with my blood, and they will sort it. It was something unknown, and seeing as I was 36 weeks pregnant at the time, I wasn't just worried about myself. We got through it, and it's nearly 16 now, so I've not had a relapse for 14 years, which is pretty good going, really.
That's amazing.
Yeah. TTP. I have it, but it don't have me.
Doesn't matter about the junk.
After coming home from hospital, there can often be an adjustment period whilst settling back in.
When I came out, I got a lift home, and sitting in the car, everything seemed big and very fast because of just out of touch. And I remember a bus coming back by the side of the car and thinking, the size of those tyres because they just seemed massive. Everything seemed very fast and big. Walking before was just walking, but to be walking afterwards was, I don't know, just totally different. Everything seemed new and different, and gradually built up doing things and had no hospital appointments and just got back to normal and really felt normal ever since, which is nice. I know you can have a relapse, but so far, touch wood, everything's okay.
They're for me and my mum. How does my face look? Have I got sausage roll on my chops? I think I was 3 years old when when my parents found out and got a diagnosis. They thought I had leukemia at first. They thought it could be anything, but TTP wasn't heard of. A lot of doctors never heard of it. And to be congenital was, I don't even know if they knew I was congenital back then either. I think it was just, you had TTP. Even this video is something that needs to be sent to people to push the knowledge of it and the recognition of it.
Hi, it's Tracy. So I always explain to people when I start to work with them that I do have a blood condition. I have a red card as well. So if I'm ever taken ill and I can't speak for myself, the red card's always with me, so they can pass that on to the necessary people, so they can pass that information on without people thinking, oh, what's wrong with her? There's other first aiders who have also made aware about my TTP. So when I first came back to work, I did have a couple of relapses, and it looked like I was drunk because of the confusion. But because I'd made people aware of that, people were a lot more sensitive, should I say. It's good to let people know so they understand, and then you know that you've got more support around you.
TTP can also bring on neurological problems, which combined with the impact of a diagnosis can lead to changes in mood and personality.
We were talking about how sometimes TTP affects the brain. And one of the ways it seems to have affected you is in terms of memory, and it's affected some of your day-to-day tasks.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying it's left you with a feeling of frustration when things haven't been remembered. Could you give me an example of that?
Like, say, I'd arranged to go to Asda with my mum. Yeah. I'll get in my car and we won't go to Asda because I've gone somewhere else. And then she'll say, like, I thought we were going to Asda, and I'm like, oh God, we'll go to Asda.
Yeah, some people think that TTP affects memory, and then, that just means I'm more forgetful every now and then. But I think what I'm hearing from you is it affects memory, and then that has a knock-on effect. And the knock-on effect is it leaves you feeling more on edge, more frustrated. And then sometimes you've described feeling like you're letting people down.
Because I've been doing everything on my own with kids. I've grown up with kids on my own. I've always done everything myself. And now I know I can't do that. I know I can't move a wardrobe. And it's like, I feel like they don't want me to leave the house on my own.
Is it something that came on after your diagnosis?
Yeah, I weren't like this before. I weren't angry. I was very laid back. Enjoyed my job. And everything. I weren't like, I'm a different person than I were 4 years ago.
So some of the things that might be useful if we were to spend time together is to go through some of the known effects that having TTP, being in ICU, and what we would sometimes call a trauma of being in ICU. Because TTP, plus the medications that we're on, creates gaps in our memory. And it means that our experience is confusing at the very least, but sometimes we have these very bizarre memories, very bizarre thoughts that when we look back, leaves us feeling quite unsettled. Some people report feeling quite scared by some of the things that they can remember from ICU. And for you, I know that some of those memories come back What people also report as well is that their emotions and reactions to things have changed. And emotion is within the brain as well. So when we have a change in the brain, it makes sense that we might have a shorter fuse or different things suddenly kind of spark us off. And I'm also thinking about just creating some space to think, okay, when I respond and react in a way that's unusual, how do I treat myself with compassion and kindness, reminding myself I've been through a big thing? And secondly, how do I bring myself back down in a way that feels good, feels calming, and feels like you can be yourself again? How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
When you were in intensive care, it wasn't very pleasant.
Oh, horrible. The bits I remember. I didn't see my kids at all while I was in intensive care. When my oldest come, I kept pulling this.
Yeah, the nose bit.
I ended up with mittens on, weighted. They weren't just mittens, they were like, because when I remember trying to lift my arms up and I had these mittens on, and then them beeping noises. Beep, beep, beep. I hate it. I hate beeps. See, I don't remember even seeing any machines around me. I just remember waking up one day and there were birthday cards all over this wall except my birthday, and I'm like, I don't even have that many friends, where've all them come from? Just everything's like changed for me. Everything. I'm not Tracy who I were 4 years ago.
Hiya. You okay? These are the guys who I work with. I think they'll just be finishing things off now. You all right, Joseph?
Hiya.
I constantly stay on coffee forever because I love coffee, even though, to be fair, I shouldn't drink that much coffee.
Sandra was offered regular plasma infusions to manage her TTP.
I was recommended to have some plasma infusions on a fortnightly basis, just to see if that would help me. I think I did a month of this Octoplas, and I felt better. I didn't feel confused, I didn't feel as angry, I didn't feel as tired, and I felt as though if I wanted to do something, my body wasn't saying, well, you can't really do that. And I was getting up then and I was doing things, and that's when I actually went out and got a second job, because I felt as though I could do this second job. And then I started going to the gym, and I started going for days out with my son and enjoying shopping trips and going to see family, just for the sake of a couple of bags of plasma every couple of weeks, just to freshen me up.
To help Tracy to work through her feelings, she's been invited to visit critical care in order to reconcile the time she spent there.
Oh my word. Muddies have all been round me.
All the pumps with all the medicines. You'd have another machine for the plasma exchange.
Dad, that's the machine I remember, and the tellies. I don't remember.
Monitor to make sure that you're okay in the breathing machine.
It's safe to say you didn't have a good time or good feelings about it. How are you feeling now?
All right, I don't know.
Does it seem a little less okay?
Oh, God. I can't believe I've just got upset over something all them years ago. I was not expecting that at all. I'm going to start seeing Johnny. He seems nice to talk to.
Really good, and it's just nice to get out here. So we've got loads of like veggie patches. It's really nice up here. You can get the view across the hills there. So it's really nice up there. And then the sun sets over there. The medical teams in this country are just absolutely spot on. They know exactly what they're doing. So once you've got your diagnosis, you're in good hands. If I phoned Liverpool and said I don't feel well today, they would tell me exactly what to do straight away. So it takes away, that does take away the fear, and they aren't really supportive. So yeah, it is a diagnosis, it is something that you've got to live with, but I don't think I'll ever, touch wood, be back to what I was, because I know as soon as something comes up I will get tested.
Get me check up, go home, go to work, have a social life, go out to the pub or a club like any normal person. I put it to the back of my mind and forget about it.
It's been great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good morning.
Come here, tell where you be.
Yeah, this is it.
After you came back from hospital,
Yeah.
how far did we walk?
We used to walk like, the first day I think it was like 5,000 steps, because I was still feeling tired. Yeah. And obviously, as I became stronger by day, we started walking more than like doing 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
And from 10,000, we kept on going. And now we are hitting like 50,000 steps. Just keep going, be positive all the time and with your recovery.
It is a long journey, but once you're right in here, you're right up here as well. One day at a time. That's all you need to do. Take one day at a time. Decide what you want to do when you want to do it. Don't rush yourself. If you're tired, go to sleep. If you're hungry, have something to eat. You don't need to clean the whole house. You don't need to clean the full kitchen. One step at a time. It'll wait, or someone else will do it.
Thank you to all the people who spent time with me to make this film. For more assistance and information, contact your specialist TTP team